This is a great tool for helping you overcome procrastination. It's a simple form where you list the advantages of action and the disadvantages of inaction. Why should you take action? What are the advantages to you? List them out. What's going to happen negatively if I don't do this? And then it's just a driving carrot, if you will. Kind of the carrot and the stick at the same time. That's how you can motivate yourself. You have the carrot of the desire of the advantages of taking action, and the stick, the pain of not taking action. You want to do that for yourself. Motivate yourself with pleasure and pain, because there's only two reasons we do everything we do on the planet: to gain pleasure or to avoid pain. And this is going to help drive you even more. Actually, we'll do more to avoid pain, most people will, than gain pleasure. So it's important that you do both sides of this equation. In a series of interviews conducted recently, 50 out of 52 executives said they would not promote a person with a messy desk or messy work environment. How many of you are in trouble? Even though you may be totally organized. Now, messy desk does not mean unorganized, because some people know exactly where everything is, and that's just the way they do things. But the perception, you know, they say perception is reality. For a lot of people, that's true. Even though you may be organized, the perception is that you're not, because you got this messy desk, messy work environment. Now, there's other people that have totally impeccably clean desks and office environment that are totally unorganized, right? So super clean and sterile doesn't necessarily mean organized either. Here's the criteria. If you can find anything you need in 30 seconds or less, you're organized. 30 seconds or less. If you can find anything you need in 30 seconds or less, you're organized. If it takes longer than that, then you're not organized. Simple as that. That's the general rule. So it doesn't matter how it looks. But again, if you want to be promoted, you might want to have the appearance that you got it together, right? By having the appearance of cleanliness, filing systems, you know, things put away at the end of the day. Clean environment. The number 1 and number 4 time robbers are telephone interruptions and drop-in visitors. Schedule uninterrupted time. Hour, hour and a half, whatever it is. Ask your boss if you can do that. Get the support there. Then forward your phone to voicemail during that time. Some people think that when the phone rings, you got to pick it up. Depends on your job. If you're in a phone center or call center, that's your job. You got to pick it up within the third ring. But if you're not, and you can work with other people in your department, maybe you can trade off. You know, your block time is from 9 to 10:30. Your block time is from 10:30 to noon, and etc. You rotate, cover for each other, so that you have a solid block of time that's highly productive, and you can get high priority tasks done. You can have an open door policy, but not 24 hours a day. Open door from these hours. That way you can get some work done. Block time. By the way, pre-compose your message before you call. Your voicemail. Don't you hate it when somebody calls you and they ramble? I just wanted and they say the same thing 3 times, right? And then they give you the number. This is the great part. They give you my number is 800-5500, super fast, and you're like, they rambled for 5 minutes, and then the last millisecond they give you the 800-5500. Oh my God! So you got to rewind it, and depending on your voicemail system, you might have to listen to the whole thing to get to that nice phone number, and you're going, oh my God! So proper phone protocol would be. Another idea, keep a 3-minute hourglass by your phone, and then when you call somebody or they call you, you turn that thing over, and your goal is to be done with the phone conversation at the end of the 3 minutes. 3-minute hourglass. Turn it over. That's your goal. There's a little small talk always, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. So, what can I do for you? Get to the point. How can I help you today? That's how you can get to the point quicker. This is the one I totally love. I love this, love this, love this. Interruption log. You write down every time somebody comes into your space to sit and talk about non-business related matters. And what you do is, they walk into your space, they want to chat. Well, what you do is you pull out your form and you start writing it down, like the time and their name, start time, end time. And you might even ask them for their signature. Or just doing it, they're going to go, "What are you doing?" "Oh, nothing. I'm just logging stuff that's happening. This is my interruption log." So, what's going to happen? People are going to go, "Oh, okay, see ya," because they don't want to be part of the problem. The next letter, P in space, is purge. The question is, have you used this thing in the last 12 months? And if you have not, you can probably throw it out. But there's another great question that you ask before you throw it out. What's the worst possible thing that could happen if I throw this out instead of filing it or saving it? What's the worst thing that could happen if I throw it out instead of filing it or saving it? And if it's not go to jail or pay a big fine, then throw it out. How easy is it to retrieve that information? It might be online somewhere or in some other file or some other server hard drive, and if it's easy to retrieve, you don't need it. Get rid of it. Lighten your load. Equalize is the maintenance part, and that's going to take you 3 to 5 to 15 minutes every single day. So you may want to schedule in your calendar every day. If you're done at 5, at 4:45 you're done, and then you put things away. You refile things. You clean up the top of your desk. Everything goes into those zones. The A zone, B zone, or C zone. Okay, we talked about getting your environment in shape. And that's great. And you can come in on a Saturday and or Sunday if you have to, if you want to, and get it together. But if you don't have an ongoing system by the next Friday or sooner, it's going to look like it did when you started, right? So you may want to adopt this system called the 6D system. It's an ongoing system for maintaining a clean environment in your workspace. And a little bit later we're going to get more specific about the fire hose of life that comes in, all this stuff, how do you handle it specifically, but this is the overview. So 6D system, the first two are dump and delete. And then finally do it. That's the last thing you want to do, is do it. It's creative procrastination. It's not really procrastination, it's smart living. It's time management. Throw it away, give it to someone else, delay it, file it, do it, in that order. 6D system. Meetings. How to chair an effective meeting. Number 1, start the meeting on time. How many meetings you go to and they start 5 to 15 minutes, 20 minutes late all the time? What does that do? That encourages people to show up late. You're not rewarding the people that showed up on time. You want to reward the people that show up on time by starting on time, and if somebody comes in late, you do not repeat anything. It's their responsibility to show up on time. I know of one company that actually locks the door as soon as the meeting begins. And the people that show up late never show up late again. Amazing how that works. End on time. An idea would be to use a digital clock in reverse that counts down to the end of the meeting, so you can kind of keep an eye on it and make sure that you're getting stuff done that needs to get done in that meeting. End on time. You don't ever want to have an open-ended meeting that lasts 3 hours or more that just goes on and on and on, and nobody wants to come to meetings ever again. Right? Not a good thing. Start on time, end on time. Have an agenda. Have an agenda. What a concept. The 3 big things you need on the agenda are who's responsible, name, for what, by when. Right? So you can have agenda items and then have some blank lines under each agenda item. And who's responsible, 6 lines or whatever, for what lines by when, date, and or time. That's your agenda. And always on the agenda, prioritize the most important things you want to talk about. That's what you want to cover first, to make sure that it's covered. Then the next most important, second, etc. And underneath each agenda item, put who's responsible for what, by when. Who's responsible for what, by when. Then at the end of the meeting, everybody's got the same thing, if everybody's writing notes down. Notify people in advance of the agenda and their responsibilities. Well in advance. A week or two, hopefully, at least 48 hours, so that they have time and opportunity to prepare for the meeting. If they're supposed to talk 5 minutes on something, they need time to prepare for that. You don't want people at the meeting saying, well, I need to make this phone call to get that information. You're wasting lots of money because meetings are expensive. Take the hourly rate times the number of people in the room, hundreds of dollars or thousands for some companies per hour you're wasting. Very important. Notify people in advance of the agenda. Assign a person to take the minutes of the meeting and then alternate that person every meeting so that everybody gets empathy for the minute taker. Okay? Now, everybody can be writing along too, but if you have an official minute taker, then hopefully you can pretty much rely on that person to put everything down that needs to go down. And then again, 5 minutes before the end of the meeting, that person goes to the copier, makes 20 copies or however many people are in the meeting, comes back, and now everybody's got the same thing. Everybody's on the same page.